Mm.
Wow, guys, he's doing extra 3v3. he's going for the 30 fights instead of the 20. Hey man, how you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
Good, good. Welcome back.
Thank you. So I think it was about what, 6 months ago, something like that, 7 months ago.
Yeah, it was a little while, and I guess when you first came on, it was kind of like I think some people were almost disbelieving that you were free to play originally, and then
Oh,
we
they're
started
gonna
going
hate
through.
it more now.
Well, then we started going through some of your teams that you use for faction wars and stuff, and it was just like, damn, this guy is absolutely like almost like to a T mapping out this game. Let's
Myself.
just go back a step before we get into some of the details of what you've been doing. How long have you actually been playing the game for? And are you totally free to play that since you've started the game?
Totally free to play. Never ever spent a penny. I started the game. It was March last year, so about 18 months roughly now. Right.
18 months, yeah. Okay. What would be the best place to kind of kick off, do you think?
I mean, it's entirely up to you. You can go to the Great Hall. I know you like to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
how an account's progressing. You can always start with the Great Hall.
Damn. 100% win rate. There you go. That is this 100% win rate because you literally only pick easy fights?
I mostly pick like relatively easy fights, but I've been changing that up in recent weeks. So I sometimes use my go second team if I just want to take a team that's going to beat me in speed,
Yeah.
and it usually wins anyway, so it's kind of fine. But I sit during the week, with that single arbiter defense and just farm. There's no
Yeah.
incentive to
So
be
you've just stayed low
higher.
gold for continuously and just fight easy battles,
Exactly.
basically.
There's just no incentive to push higher. And in
Yeah.
terms of that competitive edge, I get that at the weekends on TTA, where obviously I have to fight proper teams,
Yeah.
and you work on the strategies there, and that's kind of like my platinum reset is just staying in gold 3. I did once get to gold 4. It was hell. I went straight back down. I said, forget that. It's not worth
Yeah.
it.
It is hard, isn't it? Like even gold 3 is up there and tough.
So for that,
Um,
I'd say just if you want to fight it, I'd use one of my go second teams.
what's your kind of go-to?
So if you go right down to the bottom, for that one, I'd probably use the Sathalia one, Sathalia Tormin,
Just full
Candrathon.
auto it.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Nice. Um, yeah, so obviously you would have had to build out a number of teams then to be able to push up to gold 3 in 3 versus 3 arena. Oh yeah, smacking. No worries. Easy street. Easy street.
You can go and look at the
Um,
Candrathon and Duchess builds and stuff if you want as well.
so obviously Doomtale pushing through that. Sorry, I just want to come back a second. Did you ever get to Plat Arena? Have you ever actually finished in Plat?
I've never finished in Plat. That's the one thing in the game that I've not done. I don't think I've got a fast enough speed team to do it. Like my
Yeah,
Arbiter's not that fast.
the funny thing is, like, I mean, I think Plat's almost like playing a different game, honestly. But the funny thing with Plat is, it's actually when you get to the Plat reset, speed isn't as important as um, tactics and other champions. But yeah, I mean, it is certainly like a massive challenge. This Candrathon though is built well. This is like a hard hitting candy for sure. Pretty
Yeah,
fast as well.
it's one of my better builds, one of my best
Yeah.
builds on the account. Um, and yeah, like he's good fun. I sometimes bring him into PvE just for the fun of it. So, for instance, he does minnow for me just because it's amusing to
Just
watch.
because he's good. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, how many of your main legendaries you're using here are fully booked as well? I noticed actually a couple.
Most of them are booked to the point that they needed to be.
Yeah.
But like a good number of them. I mean, every single champion training that gives a legendary book, I do every single one of them. Obviously,
Do
Ultra
you?
Nightmare,
Yeah.
Nightmare, every day you get books there. I'm careful about when I pull shards. I always am looking to get the legendary books when I'm pulling shards.
Yeah.
So I'm picking them up there. I buy one from, obviously you get a couple from Doom Tower. I buy the one from TTA. I'm just always on the hunt for books.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
Um,
So anytime this is available, you're just popping straight back in there and
it's
picking
always
it up.
You can see I've got 200,000 gold bars, so like it's
Damn, yeah,
not
that's
a
actually
problem.
nuts. That's actually insane. So look, you've been playing for 18 months. In 18 months, give me a number roughly. How many days have you not done like the full complement of things to do in the game for
Well,
your level?
at the beginning, I didn't actually play it that seriously for the first sort of 2 months. But
Yeah,
after
same
that,
as.
I'd say there's probably maybe been 5 days that I haven't done everything, if
Yeah,
that. And that's kind of, if you want to do it free to play, that's the flip side, right? You have to have that dedication to get it done because there's no other way of getting the resources. You
yeah.
can't just go, oh, I'll take a week off and then just throw a bit of money at it to catch back up. Like it doesn't work that way.
Because this is an insane amount of gold bars to have just sitting around. Bearing in mind, you're buying stuff.
Yeah, so it's really
Yeah.
actually efficient to buy the 15 gem refill.
Oh, okay. So
It's
you're doing extra.
mm,
Wow, guys, he's doing extra 3v3. he's going he's going for the 30 fights instead of the 20. Wow, that is like hard on for the cause there.
'cause if you think how many gems you'd happily spend to get a sacred, say, you work out if you're in gold level, what the 15 gems, how many gems you actually need to spend to get the sacred. It's the cheapest skill
It's the
book or
best way
sacred
to get a sacred in the
in the
game.
game. It's the cheapest in the game.
Damn. It,
So,
and I don't doubt for a second that you're right because honestly, I was talking to a few other content creators the other day about this. Once you've got Drex, it's almost
there's
like
nothing there.
what else are you saving for? They kind of did the avatars for a little while. What else are you saving for? And I mean, I buy on a daily basis always, as long as I remember, the accessories. I'll always buy a sacred when it pops for me. But on my free to play, if I was in gold, once Drex is done, I'd be buying as many books and shards as I could afford, for sure. So I do get it, and like you say, 15 gems that actually is damn cheap. It's just whether you can keep going with this free versus free. And
Well,
are
I mean, you got to
you?
remember, like Monday to Friday, you've got single man defenses, so
Yeah. Do you do
it's
that as
kind of
well?
fine. I do that, yeah.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. So you just
I've
fight the low level. It's almost like an auto
Yeah,
farm.
exactly.
So a few people are asking them why haven't you bought the epic book and the void shard? What's your thinking
I
there?
just think I think they're terrible value, to be honest. And I'm kind of hoping they'll revamp the bazaar at some point, and then there'll be something to do with the bars I have.
Yeah.
So
I think
it's
that's
just
very hopeful, if I'm honest. I would say if I'm sitting on your number, I'm buying these two. Maybe not. I don't know if you still need epic tomes to be honest, but
you get so many epic books on Clan Boss. Like the
yeah.
Void
I mean, in
Shard,
fact,
maybe,
let's just
but
see. Does he need epic skill tomes or not? This is going to be the only way we find
the
out.
legendary books is the one that people
Flipping
are going to get
heck.
upset.
Free to play, 18 months, loads of book champions, 59 legendary books sitting there.
Got to say, the
59.
last part of the missions give you a load of extra books as well. That
Wow,
was
that
a
is
nice top
actually
up.
mad. 18 months in, he's got a spare 59 legendary books.
I mean,
Damn.
Romantu will obviously get booked.
Yeah,
I might need to book Herndig to be doing Dark Fae on auto next cycle,
sure. Yeah.
because I want to farm
So
Dark Fae
you
next
booked
time.
your Carl, but
I had
not
I had to book
Euros.
your
Oh,
call.
Euros has got most of them.
Eurust is fine. Eurust is done.
Yeah.
He does the job. But I had to book your call to finish the secret room. Now, what you could say is I've not booked Mountain King, but I booked your call.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've not booked Brogni, but I booked your call. There's
Yeah. I
various
mean,
ones.
it's pretty disgusting what we're seeing here. Even Kleimar's not fully booked, albeit it's pretty just day one, is it?
Yeah, it's just A1.
Yeah.
Who needs their A1s anyway?
Okay, so the chat is saying, let's see what chickens we got going on. So 25-star chickens waiting for action. 52 4-star chickens.
You don't get many champion training points for using chickens.
So talk us through what do you do on these champion trainings? When you say I always get the legendary tome, which is
Yeah.
normally at what, like 15,000 points or something crazy, or maybe
Yeah,
not quite
most
that
of the
many.
time it's 12 to 14k.
Yeah.
So I'll go from rank 1s with 1 brew, 3 other rank 1s to get a rank 2.
Okay.
Every time I'm doing the rank 2s, I'll do 9 brutal 12-3 and then 1 normal 12-3. For a 3-star, I'll do 23 brutal 12-3 and then 45 minutes in the pit. When I'm upgrading
Seriously,
rank
yeah.
3s, yeah, when I'm
Damn, that is like
upgrading rank 3s
that's
to rank
disgusting to
4s,
hear, man.
I'll
That
put
is.
1 brew in each of the rank 3s to get them to level 10 first. Level
Yeah.
4s get 2 brews and a level 1 to get them to 15. And 5-stars get 3 brews and a rank 1 to get them to 18. And you'll see below there's 6 5-stars ready, all at 18. Ready for Ramantu, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which will
I see.
happen during
So,
CBC.
damn. Damn. So that is efficient use
I've done it enough
of
times.
the champion leveling stuff. It's crazy, man. It is actually crazy. Where do you fit into
Sure.
masteries?
I barely do. Like my masteries are so not completed on a lot of champions. I sometimes do them during CVC. So because you actually accrue quite a lot of gems, I'll sometimes throw like 500 or
Yeah,
like
that's one thing I
800
would say.
gems
Like,
during CVC and say like, well, I'm just gonna get a few extra CVC points for doing the masteries that I probably should have done at some other point.
yeah,
Like most people don't get their masteries finished. Like even Kaimar has never actually had his second tree selected, as you just saw.
yeah.
Very few champions get their masteries finished. You just don't need them. I'll get the masteries I need, but I often don't finish them.
No, sure.
You save a lot
Okay,
of
so
energy by not doing the second T5s, second and third T5.
yeah, that's one thing I've noticed as well. I've not been maxing masteries, which I always would have done before, but on the free to play, it's like, you know what? I've got the tier 6. I'm out. I'm done. But I
Exactly.
mean, one of the things you just mentioned there, you get a lot of gems, and I have 100% found that. My
You
free
do.
to play, even when I'm doing the fusion stuff, I'm like, I don't need to spend these gems. Yeah, my only challenge is shards right now. That's my only barrier for whether I'm going to get a fusion or not. It tends to be the shard. Have I gathered enough shards in the time?
Yeah. And that's Ultra Nightmare. If you're on Ultra Nightmare, you get so many more
Just get enough.
shards than any other source in
Yeah,
the game. As long as you're not always pulling them, you'll always be fine.
yeah, yeah,
It's if you're going after every 10x or pulling when you during CVC, or if you're just pulling at times that doesn't really make sense.
yeah.
That's when.
So talk us through then, because you've got a ton saved up here. When there was things like the Vizier, guaranteed legendary champion, I see you had him, so maybe you had him already. But
I had
would you
two.
have done
So
that?
the only one I didn't do out of all those guaranteeds was Lady Kimmy, which actually I spoke to you about at the time because they put it during CVC without any
That's right.
summoning event. I was so annoyed with them not giving us a way of getting a
Something
legendary
else.
tome with it that
So even though you've
I
got all
didn't
those
do
saved
it.
up, you decided
Out of
not to go for it.
protest. As a protest, I
Wow.
didn't do it. And then obviously in the next two X's, I pulled like 110 and 80 in this last two X, so 190, and only got one legendary for it, which was my
Yeah.
pity. So it was kind of they got me back.
And you've got a 1 key Ultra Nightmare team. You're running a Bat Eater with Fane.
Yeah, I only actually built the Bat Eater this weekend because if you remember before, I had a regular
An old school
counter
team.
attack old
Yeah.
school team. I then got my first man eater and built a budget unkillable with Vizier, Fat Man, and Geomancer.
Sure.
And that was kind of what I was doing on Ultra Nightmare, and then I was still running my traditional team on Nightmare and on Ultra Nightmare when it turned Magic. And then I was like, well, now I've finished all the secret rooms, I've finished everything else, and obviously I knew I had Romantu being finished on Monday, so I thought, I might as well actually finally build this Bat Eater,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I could start trying to get the 1 key and just not have to worry about affinities and gear swaps.
It feels damn nice, doesn't it, when you've got that just kind of rolling in.
It does.
Um,
And to be honest, because Gym Answer in Doomtower, for some of the really fastest runs, he's actually included in some of those. And if you go to the Doomtower and you look at like what I've done this month in terms of the turns on hard, I do want to get that down a little bit. If you click on like the rankings, that's kind of
okay, yeah.
another thing I'm trying to work on a bit. So I'm getting
Do
there.
you? So I'll be honest. I literally never. I looked at this the first month it came out. I've never looked at it since because I feel like it's a little bit of a nonsense way of judging people on how good they are at Doom Tower. But um, so you clear the whole Doom Tower, and you've done this for the last 3 months, haven't you? Or is it the
I've
last
done
two
it for the
months?
last I think I've done it for the last 5
Oh,
months
five
now.
months. Wow.
The first
Okay.
time I went 12-12 was June, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. So where are you at with Champion Collection? Right, I don't know if where I can see it actually in terms of the Doom Tower champions.
I'm well because I've done Romantu. I will have got Gomlock, so I'm on to Varl on the
Yeah.
legendary side, and I'm nearly finished Dark Kale.
Nice. I've actually got a Dark Tail video coming out over the weekend. He is like insane. But whether you would, this is the funny thing. When you get someone like a Dark Kale now, who is an insane epic, what goes through your brain?
Nice for the vault. Like,
Yeah, is
like
that
the
it though?
first,
Are you just kind of like, you know what? I've got resources. I could just level him out if I want, but I don't feel the need. So he's gonna sit in the vault.
all I really think about them right now is, can I speed up my faction wars? Can I speed up my secret rooms? Because I just want
Yeah,
everything to be as fast as possible. So like, I don't know, maybe you could show people say a Fire Knight 24 run, because most people don't see a Bonfire Knight 24, but I do, and there's a tournament on at the moment, so at least that's
yeah.
something to show people. And that lures in Affinity Breaker. You can have a look at the build. Actually, you can have a look at the Seer build as well.
Affinity Breaker. Honestly, this is the first person I've ever seen with an Affinity Breaker champion. You don't even run a ring on your seer. What's that about? Um,
Well, because in
only
Dragon,
one
I want
eight.
her to die.
Is that actually the reason? So
Yes,
it's by design.
yeah.
So you
I
got
want her to die in Dragon.
318%, 200 speed in Savage Gear. I don't even know if I could get to this in my Savage Gear. That is crazy, crazy stuff. Okay, let's check out the allure. So Affinity Breaker, just because you don't want the you're trying to reduce the chance of weak hits.
Yeah, exactly.
Are, are you a fan of Affinity
No,
Breaker?
I think it's massively underpowered. But if you're running a lure on negative affinity and Fire Knight, whatever you can get,
Yeah, so
give
you've
me
got your.
something to help.
Are you using her somewhere else as well?
No, it's the only place in the game she plays.
Why such crazy accuracy?
So at one point she was running in Scarab before I got Eurost.
Oh, okay, okay,
So
yeah.
that was why.
So 253 speed, and I guess that's obviously rotating around to make sure that you keep his turn meter down.
Exactly.
Um,
You can run Fire Knight 25 faster than 24.
yeah,
As you know, 24 is more efficient. So
yeah, yeah.
the only place you'll ever find me, unless
It's
it's
24.
CVC, I do run 25 for CVC just because of
I
the
do you because
difference in
actually
points.
it's more efficient time for points in 20. But obviously that
Energy to points
that's
is
based on
most
energy.
efficient
Yeah, yeah,
in 25. So like I'll do dungeons in 25 for CVC because obviously more limited by energy than time.
yeah. Do you ever
Um,
use your gems for energy refills? By the way,
yeah, that's the only thing I use them for.
oh, it is.
It's just I use them at you know certain times. So like the CVC before last, I used I think 1,000 gems
Yeah,
uh, and got like 400k as a score.
really.
I average 300k every CVC.
So where are you getting your points from in CVC generally? What's your kind of big point scorers?
TTA is big. Being in gold 3 is worth
Yeah,
a lot. Especially as you do the 15 gem refill. Sometimes I even do the 40 gem refill as well, just
do you?
because it's just so many CVC points. I usually will book 2 epics and maybe one legendary.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So you almost specifically save any booking for CVC now, yeah?
100%. So like this CVC, I'll be booking out Romantu. I'll
Yeah.
actually book out Urgrim, who I pulled in the last Void event. And I know he's been nerfed, but he is still going to be useful in
Still really good.
a couple of places for me. So
And
he'll get booked out.
one of the things I was going to ask then, so Romantu coming on, is your priority now CVC points for pulling a champion, or are you still hard waiting for a champion chase event?
I'll pull him in CVC. He's worth a lot of points. I'm not worried about like completing a champion chase. I know I can do it if I need to. I also have quite a lot of the fragment champions not pulled at the moment. You can check that after.
Sure.
That whole kind of saving them for a rainy day in case there is a champ chase. Bear in mind though, Plarium have got quite smart and they tend to always put the champ chase during a fragment on the 2x.
Yeah,
So I'm
I've
usually
noticed that as
pulling on
well.
the 2x anyway.
I've noticed that as well. Like, and it's always first as well, isn't it? It's kind of like, makes you kind of question what you should do. Yeah. Is this a 100% team, by the way?
It's 100% because of Duchess. Duchess cannot die. So if Allure fails, which even with Affinity Breaker she will fail,
yeah,
everyone other than Duchess and Lydia will die, but Duchess will just pick everyone back up, and
sure.
it's completely 100% because Duchess cannot die.
So you still got Ruel. How long ago was Ruel? I mean, that was a while back. That was months
a long time ago. A long time.
Yeah.
Never needed to pull him. So...
And you're working up your Val now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see I've got
Crazy.
like
so you've
4
got like,
legendaries ready to
yeah.
pull.
You're gonna have
Basically.
literally like a few thousand points worth of just champion pulls if you want to.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So is there any of the 10 times events then where you're like, you know what, I've got this many shards and I really want that champion?
Yeah, I tried with Valk at least once, if not twice.
Right. Okay. There are some that you can still get. It can almost like pierce your defense. Ultimately, what they do these 10 times for is to pierce the defense. And most people's defense is just kind of like paper thin. It's like, yeah, no worries, pulling all my shards. But you've got like this big iron vault that they need to get through, and they sneak through it now and then.
Basically, there's 2 champions in the game who, if I got one of those 2, I feel like I'd have a more realistic chance of trying to push Plat or do something a bit different in Arena. And that's Valk or Hegemon. Because they're the 2 best champions at countering speed in the game. Like, Tormund's okay at it, but most people will have some kind of way of countering Tormund.
Yeah.
And it's not reliable. Whereas...
And who else would be on your kind of top wanted list?
Warlord.
Warlord.
There's no other more busted champion in the game than Warlord.
No.
At all. It's just so ridiculous.
Yeah.
But you need to be the fastest for Warlord
any
to really shine.
Out of interest.
I said Valkyrie. Valkyrie
yeah.
on the non-voids, Hedgie or Warlord on the voids. Like those just change the game in a way that no other champion would. I mean, there's other champions that are fun, and I'd definitely build and I'd do something with, like, Trunder, Rotos, etc. But those 3 are just, there's no one. They're irreplaceable. There's no one that can do what they do.
Okay, this actually looks pretty similar to the team we built out the other day.
The only sad about this one is if you get multiple 3%, it can actually fail.
Right.
But you need a lot of bad RNG.
Yeah, that nasty 3% can just creep in here and there. It's just slick, isn't it?
She always dies. I could probably change it so she doesn't, but doesn't matter.
Yeah. So
it does the job.
People are saying, who's the 60 on the right? Crypt King Graal, since his buff, is solid now. Really good champion now. If you pair him with an HP burn champ. But he also does his own Did he just do
He
his own
does the
HP burn?
he does, yeah, but you need to
Yeah,
change the speed tune. Like this worked even before they buffed
yeah.
it effectively.
So if ultimately you could just drop Mordecai completely now, could you?
You could, but you'd
And put
need
someone else in?
Crypting Growl to go much
Yeah,
faster,
yeah. Okay, no,
basically. But there are other things you
exactly.
can do. You can pair Crypt King with other champions and make it work.
Seer, Lydia coming back in. Kymar. See, we've seen Kymar in every team so far, I think. Did we? Did we see him in? Was he in your final?
Yeah. So actually, this isn't the
No, he wasn't actually, was
fastest
he?
version of it. Um, the fastest version is Lydia out, Archmage in.
Okay.
But the reason Lydia was there is recently I had to farm Dragon 25. I think Dragon was the tournament in CVC.
Yeah.
So even though Frozen Banshee's negative affinity, pairing with Lydia gets past that because Lydia will put the poison sensitivity down.
Okay. Yeah. Would you mind if I run the optimizer? Can I share? Can I take it almost like a screen grab in the optimizer of your builds and share that with people?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just for anyone who's interested in your kind of builds or your masteries of some of these teams. And I know when we spoke last time, I kind of asked you, what keeps you now interested in the game?
Hydra.
Yeah. So, and is that it? Are you kind of just looking forward now to what new things are coming?
Yeah, and I'm trying to get my teams faster. I'm trying to optimize them where I can. You'll see the fastest time on this with if you get rid of Lydia and bring in Archmage. Who I think I need to swap a gear piece. It can be a lot quicker. With the Archmage version, it's between 40 and 55 seconds. Whereas Lydia, and that actually again you can fail if Frozen Banshee doesn't get a War Master proc in 3 turns or 4 turns.
Right.
She
Okay.
goes like 3 or 4 turns without a single War Master proc. Whereas this version, they can't die. It won't fail. It'll never fail with the Lydia.
So, am I allowed to do this?
Yeah, go ahead.
To your Ice Golem while I get this through. So I see big Asurga coming in for the Ice Golem. That's pretty cool.
So this
It,
is where I was thinking Uragrim might come in,
yeah.
um, basically to solo the boss. So at the moment, because I didn't have anyone who could solo the boss, I know Frozen Banshee can in certain builds, but I still had Frozen Banshee in a clan boss build until this weekend, so I haven't looked at whether I could rebuild Frozen Banshee to do it.
Right.
Um, so the rationale on this team is that because Duchess is going to keep picking Seer back up and Seer's going to keep basically suiciding the team, I need decrease attack on the
Yeah.
boss, and Asurga brings it.
And is that purely our role, or is the protection she's bringing also just kind of helping your Duchess?
Protection helps, but it's mostly for the decrease attack
Yeah.
because that way
And
it'll
I
be
take it
fine.
this is probably your slowest average team, would it be?
Yeah, it's
If
not the
that's your main
fastest.
damage. Yeah.
Sometimes, if it's an Ice Golem tournament, I will actually swap Kaimar's gloves to be crit rate,
Yeah.
just to get some more poisons on. But it's not too bad. Like it's still reasonably quick.
And do you see any value in farming Ice Golem for your general gear sets? Is there any sets here that you're like, yeah, this is why I'm here?
I like reflex, but I only farm it because I'm forced to. And the main reason, my biggest issue with Ice Golem is you don't get the same amount of silver you get from every other dungeon because the gear sets
Yeah.
aren't worth as
Gears are
much.
cheaper. Yeah.
And that's my main issue with it. Like as bad as the gear is, you also get so little
You
silver.
get punished in other ways as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Because as you know, whether you're farming a lot of Fire Knight or Dragon, you're probably going to sell most of it anyway.
Yeah. Well,
Chance of pulling anything good.
I just did it, and I literally kept like one or two pieces out of everything I farmed. I farmed a lot. Um, Even on the free to play, I barely kept anything. I was farming Golem the other day. It's pretty impressive, though. I mean, it's impressive, firstly, that you've also created speed tunes. Colbrew's asking here, have I got the CC pack? I don't think I've had it yet today, man. No, I don't think so. Yeah, so it's impressive. You also create speed tunes. You're not just kind of doing the bare minimum. And I get you've been playing for 18 months, but still, like 18 months is not that long when you're kind of going to this level of kind of gameplay.
I mean, and that was the thing I was kind of almost most proud of, is that in my cluster, I'm actually the first to get Romantu. And there are
Are
other
you?
people that
Yeah.
have played longer. We've got people that pay to win as well. And I still managed to just get there ahead of them.
Yeah. How long did it take you to first clear Doomtale? What's the first, like, how long have you been playing the game for when you first cleared it?
So I think that's in the screenshots that I sent you earlier. So if I just open the same folder up, I can
Oh,
tell
in the
you.
folder, yeah. In the Doomtale screenshots.
Yeah, so the first time I cleared Doomtale was April this year. So I'd been playing for basically a year when I first cleared hard Doomtale.
It's insane, isn't it?
And that was before I got Lydia, before I got Duchess. And I've included quite a few of the flaws on that because I had to do some quite strange compositions. You start at the bottom. This shows the first time I ever finished DT1, which was back in
That's floor
April,
112.
and you can see kind of these flaws took time,
Oh, I see. So you're literally just going through the floors. Yeah, okay.
and
13
I had to
minutes.
swap the team out. I didn't have like the crazy champions. For me, Countess Lix was a guaranteed. Sil Brago was what do you call it, a fragment we did,
Yeah, fragment collect. Yeah,
and then Madame as an epic, and Nethril was the first good legendary I pulled, and it's just hard work
yeah.
getting
So
through
did
those
you
ones.
fully manual through these?
Pretty much had to.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Do you remember on DT1 the final 10 floors where you got all the crazy Tormins and
Oh yeah,
Sifis,
I remember it well
Protoss, and
because I did it live on stream, and I'd been flying through all the floors, and then we got to the last 10, and I was like, so I wanted to be one of the first people to complete Doom Tower. I think I was in the end, I was like 20th or something, but um, they took a lot. Each floor took ages. I was like, oh man, my stream ended up going on for like hours longer than normal because I was just trying to do it. It was yeah, it was hard work, definitely.
and now
It
obviously I just sib on all of these with
yeah,
Duchess.
yeah. And are you so you just doing what, Seer, Duchess, Kaimar type of
Yeah,
setup?
exactly.
Yeah, this is a quick one.
It's hard to, and here Ghostborn had to come in because this is the double Siphi
Okay,
wave, and I couldn't out
you have to
damage
kill those
her
Sifis. Yeah,
heal, and I
yeah,
didn't have any of those champions that could one shot a Siphi. So I didn't have like a Royal Huntsman or an Inquisitor, etc. So I actually had to use Ghostborn's AoE heal reduction
ah,
skill
right, okay.
to
So
stop the Siphis.
not in there because you wanted the drop defense. It was because of the heal reduction.
He was my drop defense champion there, but he swapped in for say Madame or anyone else because I had to have the
Oh, of
AoE
course you
heal
already had it.
block.
Yeah,
Otherwise, I
yeah.
wouldn't be able to kill anyone. Like I'd never kill the Siphis.
So final boss in wave 1, 21 minutes of your life. Um, and so talk us through then. What's the kind of setup here? What's going on with this team?
Again, it was just like I didn't have the great legendaries that made it quick and easy. I didn't have the best builds back then. And it's just about being safe. Loads of sustain, 2 revivers. You got the drop attack coming from Stag Knight, and obviously the drop defense. But he was really
Yeah,
there for the drop
decrease
attack.
attack. Yeah,
And because there's so little damage in that team overall, other than the HP burns, it takes so long to kill those side spiders to stop
yeah.
them cleansing the
Sure.
main spider.
So we're just
You're just
relying on
reliant
the
on
burns
War
basically going
Master
off.
and burns, and it just
Yeah.
takes ages. Like I didn't have to manual it. You just click on the little side spider, and click auto and let it go. But it's very slow.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, all these things have sped up, and that's kind of
And
one of the things you'll see is the progression in terms of speed of everything.
And did you use anyone resistance gear or anything like that, or was it literally just a case of out
Not then.
out healing the damage?
I didn't have good enough kind of resistance style gear. I was quite limited in my gearing
Yeah,
at that point. So yeah, no one was in resistance back then. Obviously for Bommel, completely different, right?
yeah, yeah,
I have
yeah.
a full resistance team for Bommel, and I'd imagine that's what we're going to have for Hydra as well.
Yeah, Hydra looks nasty. So what's this one here? Final boss, the second time round.
Yeah.
Same
But
boss,
now
same
we've got
boss.
Brogni, and look how far
Oh
much
yeah, okay,
quicker it was.
yeah. So you've
That's
subbed out.
literally
Hold on a
two
minute. You
months
subbed out
later.
Arbiter for Brogni,
Yeah.
and but he's not doing the damage. It's still just Drex. In fact, Drex is doing way more. No, it's the same sort of level of damage. Why is it so much quicker?
I don't even remember. I mean, you're looking. Even this is
Still
back
9
in
minutes. Yeah,
like 6 months ago. I don't
yeah,
remember
yeah.
exactly, but
But I mean, Brogni's just insane. Yeah, maybe he's just blocking so much of the debuffs that you're not frozen up and stuff.
exactly. I think he just brings so much
Yeah,
heal, sustain, support. I think in the other one it was probably that I kept having the two revivers having to revive people, and
yeah.
then in this one people weren't
People
dying.
just weren't dying. Yeah,
Sadly, it would be great if they had like a revive count on the end of a run where you could see
yeah.
how many times your champions got revived.
Yeah. And you see here, so you were at 1,200 or 12,000 turns before. When we looked today, you were at like 5,000 odd turns, was it?
Yeah,
So you've almost
exactly.
halved the number of turns it's taken you to um, complete the whole thing. Yeah, left or better than halved.
Yeah. And of those 5,500, a lot of that's still on the secret rooms. That's where I can improve. And I also want to improve on the bosses. That's kind of where I'm looking at now is which champions do I need to build to get those turns down or to get my faction wars even faster.
Yeah. And are you looking at, when you're trying to make those decisions, are you looking at things like the best teams that are running? Be able to take
Yeah,
attention
I
to
do
this?
look at that, and I'm trying to work out what. And that's kind of why I wanted to do the Bat Eater, because I want to free
Yeah.
up Geomancer, and I've also leveled Ninja to 60 uh, and Herndig to 60. I haven't booked either of them yet, but they're kind of the next crop of champions that I'll develop with a
Yeah.
view to speeding up certain bits of content.
We've actually managed, so in the optimizer, we're trying to work on helping people with team selection as well as the kind of build paths, and we've managed to now get to a point where on our test bed, like a test bed we run in the background,
Yeah,
from we can pull the data of our teams. So in our test bed group, we can pull the data to say this is the team you're currently running for finite. Your average time is this. Your success rate is this. This is the gear that you were running. With the view of down the line, once we've got this working, to be able to say, you know what, Earbadge, you've actually got your current team running on whatever it is, Frost Spider, is this. This is your success time. This is your win rate. And we see with your champions, you could put this team together and it should improve your time. That's the aim. That's like the end game. But it's pretty exciting stuff, actually, or pretty fun to work through as well.
I mean, with a game that has 600 champions,
Mm.
it's quite
Yeah.
quite an ambitious tool
Well, and
to
I
give
mean,
all the
honestly,
permutations.
yeah, it's going to be based on data in
Yeah,
gives best team out. So it won't account for someone with a bigger brain than people that are already out there coming up with new comps. Obviously, we can't
no, of
foresee new
course. I
comps,
mean,
but
it'll help loads of people, right?
yeah, yeah,
I always get it in our Discord, right? People are always looking for advice on how to improve their various teams. Look at the time and the turns.
21 minutes. Is this the first time you beat the
Yeah, it's the
lizards?
first time I beat, and it's still, to be honest, it's not much quicker because I haven't
Yeah,
built any one. I'm currently, I think I've got like one other 60 than I had then.
yeah. I pretty much ran the same team as this, but Basilisk is a 6-star for me because he actually does damage. He hits really hard.
I recently pulled a Venomage.
Oh yeah,
That's who's going to become a 60 to
Venomage
carry
easily slots in. Yeah,
to carry
easily.
that secret room.
Yeah.
The first time I beat Eternal Dragon. This was really hard. Because again, back here, I didn't have those like top legendaries. Obviously, people can see on the account, and people go, "Oh yeah, it's easy. You always had the roster," but actually, I didn't. So this is another like fairly free to play friendly. I know I love that we talk about free to play friendly. It just means you have to use champions that
Somehow you could get in
are
another way.
easy
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get.
yeah. Oh,
But
I see to shout out Pickled Rick, Pickled Morty dropping the 19 subs. Dude, thank you so much, as ever. Fane Gaming, thank you for the sub as well, mate. Damn, that's insane. Pickled going nuts as always. Thank you, mate. Yeah, so I guess Eternal Dragon then. What's going on here? You're basically looking at decrease attack, your egg plus protection, the burns for the damage,
and then
and then
sustain, heals,
just
sustain.
sustain. Yeah.
Brago with the passive and the defense lead, because obviously didn't have a resistance build back here on anyone, so I was
Yeah.
taking the cooldown, so I basically never had any abilities. I actually put Syl was the only one in a resistance build. I had enough
Okay.
kind of resistance gear in inverted commas to gear out Syl in resistance, so I could at least get the AoE stun off on the ads and try and mitigate some of the debuffs and the stuns coming my way. Not the stuns coming my way, the debuffs and the damage coming back. Jarek needed to land the decrease attack, and he's
Yeah.
awful at it. Like so inconsistent at actually
Yeah,
landing
definitely.
the decrease attack. It's a shocker. But but I had to build him just for this. I wouldn't have built Jarek otherwise. But it got it done. Every single champion there is in resistance.
Are they? Yeah. Oh, I
Yeah,
see that
Sill's still in
398 power.
resistance.
Yeah.
Sill is still in resistance. Brogny's still in resistance for Bommel. Lydia, I've always had in a hybrid resistance accuracy build. Drexar's in resistance for I can't even remember why, but
Oh, Drex is
and
resistance build, is he? Let me see.
he's kind of a bit of a hybrid. He's got
Bit of a
enough
hybrid.
resistance.
Yeah.
Urost, I then threw in. I was using Helior in that spot. It's enough of a resistance to resist most of what's
Yeah.
Griffin's doing. But I used to just run. So when I first did Griffin, I ran Iron Brago, Norog, Syl, Doom Priest, and then one other defensive base champion. And it was full auto, all relatively like free to play
Yeah. Doom Priest is
style
so important for
champions.
people first getting through the stuff, isn't she?
Massively,
Doom,
I just the little heal and the cleanse. The cleanse is huge,
yeah.
particularly when he does the debuff exchange and puts it back onto you.
Let's go up to the Bommel. People probably want to see the Bommel stuff. The Bommel 90. Is this the hardest thing you've done in the game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say so. And some of those HP rooms back when I had no champions, they were
Yeah.
so horrendous. But yeah, like Dreadhorn was really hard. Eternal Dragon, the first time I cleared at 120 was really hard. But yeah, Dreadhorn was really tough. And sadly, I built Yoshi for it, as I thought, oh yeah, Yoshi will be, good for a little bit of increase accuracy, the decrease accuracy. He'll be useful for the faction wars when it opens up.
Yeah.
And then it turns out that his decrease accuracy HP burn isn't just a bit random. It's completely and utterly random.
Totally random, yeah. Yeah.
So he ends up being a bit rubbish at it. So you have to pair him with Vizier. And at that point, it's like, well, what was the point of building Yoshi? I should have just gone with Whirling.
Yeah, that's it. He ends up doing most of your damage, though. I guess because burn.
It's just the HP burn
Yeah.
part. But yeah,
So
like
you pretty much then, so you're relying on Yoshi to put out his debuff, Vizier just to continuously extend it,
Mm.
And what, Euros for poison damage?
Eurust was there for poison damage and strengthen.
Okay.
So and obviously like Urost got by the time stacks up his HP during the fight.
Yeah.
With strengthen and I think he's got ally protection as well. Between strength and ally protection, his massive HP pool, he becomes almost unkillable even by Bommel. So
Yeah.
so like
So
the
you're
whole combination.
is this a full resistance team here?
Yes.
Not Duchess though, is it? Duchess, or did you
Duchess is
change
in
her build
resistance.
for
No,
that?
no, in the current build, she's got enough resistance
Oh,
to
she
make
is.
it work
Okay.
with the Uros lead.
Okay, so you're actually at 480 resistance. Wow.
Yeah. So when you add Uros, I think it's
Aurust
80,
Aura, yeah,
80 aura. That's enough for
with the decreased
bottle
accuracy out
with
there.
the decreased accuracy.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Okay, let's finish up then by looking at the Cold Heart builds, and then I think we'll have to call it a day. So you've got a reflex gear. So a lot of people are saying, why aren't you going reflex on your Cold Hearts? I guess, is this the new meta? Is this what people are pushing towards? Because you, for 21 to 25, you don't really gain the benefit of the damage. Let's
Yeah,
just
I
get
mean,
back to
if
your
she's
A.
in that the Seer team in Fire Night
Yeah,
24, literally she never uses the A2. She's in Giant Slayer, A1, A3 only.
yeah.
And it's just about trying to maximize.
Yeah, if she takes a hit, she's sitting straight down, isn't she?
Well, that's why Duchess is there. So,
Yeah.
to be honest, if anyone's taking a hit, Allure's dead first
Yeah, right, okay.
before
Paper thin,
anyone
but
else.
you got a stun? Hold up. What's the deal with that?
Yes. So that's the new build that I did this cycle to help with the attack room. So she's now one
Oh, okay.
of the stun champions, and I don't need Cold Heart anywhere else. Like, really, I mean, she's in the Spider team as you saw, but once you've got enough crit damage,
Yeah, you're fine,
it
yeah.
doesn't matter. Like, and it's
So,
enough.
look, thank you so much for coming on and talking us through your
Thank you.
raid account and the crazy stuff you do free to play, man. It's really cool. Actually, I guess crazy efficiency, that's one thing, but also just really clever builds, really clever teams to take on different content. So, yeah, always good to see, man. Always good.
They just want
King
to
of
see
free
the
to play.
Griffin